The most dangerous pirates in history never flew a skull and crossbones. They never had a ship. Some of them never even left port. And they caused more death, chaos, and economic collapse than Blackbeard could dream about. You have heard of Blackbeard. You have not heard of these people. That is the point. Challenger 9 committed an act so audacious that 3 governments pretended it never happened. 2 of those governments were the ones he robbed. This is the arena. These are the challengers. You are, as always, at bug size. Arena, open. Challengers, 9. Survival probability, 11%. Note, probability assumes basic literacy and no known treasure. He means 0. 11 accounts for the fact that you might trip and fall outside the arena. That would also count. I bet at least one of you has a pirate in your family tree. Clipboard Guy disagrees. We'll see. Let's begin. Challenger 1, Henry Every. He looks completely ordinary. That is the most dangerous thing about him. Henry Every pulled off the single biggest maritime heist in history. 1 attack, 1 ship, 1 night. He intercepted the Ganjai Sawai, the personal treasure ship of the Mughal emperor. The haul was equivalent to roughly $108 million today. He split it among his crew and disappeared. Completely. Forever. No one found him. The British government offered the first ever international manhunt in history. They did not find him. The Mughal Empire threatened to end all trade with England. England panicked. He was already gone. At bug size, you are a cargo manifest. You do not survive the audit. I don't make the rules. I just explain why you lost. Challenger 2, Ching Shih. She controlled a fleet of 1-800 ships. That is not a typo. 1-800. The Red Flag fleet under Ching Shih was larger than most national navies at the time. She taxed coastal villages. She ran a judicial system. She had a code of conduct so strict that her own pirates followed it out of genuine fear. The Portuguese tried to stop her. The Chinese Imperial Navy tried to stop her. The British tried to stop her. All 3 failed. She retired, voluntarily, with a full pardon and kept all her money. She negotiated that herself. At bug size, you are a coastal village. You pay the tax. There is no alternative. But Challenger 3 never fought a single battle. He didn't have to. He just waited, and took everything anyway. Challenger 3, Samuel Bellamy. He called himself the Robin Hood of the seas. He was 28 years old. He had been a pirate for less than 2 years. In that time, he captured 53 ships. 53 in less than 2 years. That is 1 ship every 13 days. His method was pure psychology. He would pull alongside a merchant vessel, run up the pirate flag, and wait. Most captains just handed everything over. No cannon fire needed. No boarding. Just the flag. The flag was the weapon. The reputation was the fleet. At bug size, you see the flag. You hand over everything. You, meanwhile, spent last week arguing about a parking ticket. I've been doing this long enough to know you thought that was the worst one. It wasn't. Science break. Why piracy actually works here is the thing nobody explains. Piracy is not about violence. It never was. Violence is expensive. It damages the goods you are trying to steal. It risks your crew. It invites retaliation. The most effective pirates operated on information asymmetry. They knew where ships were going. They knew what was in the holds. They had spies in ports. They bribed harbor masters. They read the shipping news. Think of it this way. A pirate is just a hedge fund that occasionally fires a cannon. The cannon is marketing. The real weapon is knowing more than you do. Planted detail. One pirate in this episode had a contact inside the colonial treasury. We'll get there. Back to your death. Challenger 4, Bartholomew Roberts. He captured 400 ships in a 4-year career. 400, the most of any pirate in the Golden Age. By a wide margin. He did not drink. He held church services on his ship. He wore a crimson coat into battle. He was completely, methodically devastating. His code required every man on board to vote on major decisions. That is a more functional democracy than some countries managed in the same century. At bug size, you are one of his 400 ships. You are not special. You are a statistic. Noted. Moving on. Challenger 5, Thomas II. Thomas II made 1 voyage. 1. He came back with enough money to retire every man on his crew for life. His route became known as the Pirate Round, the Red Sea trade lane, the single richest maritime corridor on Earth at the time. He found it first. Or rather, he had the information first. His investors back in Rhode Island got a 14,000% return. You read that correctly. 14,000%. Your savings account is not doing that. I feel for you. I really do. Anyway, I asked you one question last week. Which pirate would you survive? Here's what you said. Ching Shih. I would just join her fleet. Nautically. Nervous. Bellamy, probably. He seems chill. On history, guy from Ohio. I would bribe someone. It works in movies. Practical approach 99. I am the pirate in my family. I took the TV remote in 2014 and never gave it back. A chaos neutral. The survival rate among people who said they would just join is historically 0. The last comment will be addressed at no point in this video anyway. For more, it gets worse. Challenger 6. Lawrence de Graaf. He sacked Veracruz, the entire city. Population, several thousand. He took 1,500 hostages. He held the city for 1 week. The Spanish response took longer to organize than his retreat. He was gone before they arrived. France made him a naval officer. Then he kept raiding anyway. France looked the other way because he was useful. At bug size, you are a city. You are also a hostage. These are not mutually exclusive. Challenger 7. Jean Lafitte. He didn't attack warships. He didn't sink merchants. He just sold things. Lafitte ran a smuggling empire out of Louisiana, discounted goods. No questions asked. He was beloved by the public. The government tried to arrest him. He hired better lawyers. He won. You survived. Almost impressive. He seems manageable, actually. He's basically just a salesman with a boat. And then it turns around. He had a spy inside the U.S. Treasury Department. He knew which cargo was insured. He knew which ships the Navy would not bother chasing. He knew your routing before you left port. This is the planted detail. You were warned. The salesman knew more about your money than your bank did. Challenger 8. Hayreddin Barbarossa. He became an admiral, an actual admiral, of the Ottoman Navy. After years of piracy, he dominated the Mediterranean. He controlled coastal North Africa. He made Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, build a fleet specifically to stop him. It didn't work. The empire came to him. He did not go to the empire. That is the direction of power. At bug size, you are the Mediterranean. He controls the Mediterranean. Work out the rest yourself. Remember what I said about information asymmetry, about the spy in the treasury, about knowing more than the person being robbed. Challenger 9 didn't have a spy. He was the spy. Challenger 9, Francis Drake. You've heard of him. That's the problem. History calls him an explorer, a navigator, a knight of the realm. Spain had a different name for him, El Draque, the dragon, and Spain filed formal complaints to the English crown. Every year, for over a decade. Here is what scientists, or rather historians, could not explain for 40 years. Why did England keep knighting him instead of arresting him? The answer is the same as Lafitte, the same as Barbarossa, the same principle that runs through every challenger in this arena. Drake shared his intelligence with the crown. He shared his maps, his trade routes, his observations about Spanish fortifications. His raids were operations. His ship was a data collection vessel. The plunder was just the bonus. He circumnavigated the globe. He arrived back in England. Queen Elizabeth boarded his ship personally to knight him. Spain asked for him to be punished. She declined. Then she invested in his next voyage. A pirate, a spy, a knight, a weapon. All the same man, all the same methods. Information is the ship. Everything else is decoration. The arena is closed. Final assessment. Challengers, 9. Survivors, 0. Probability of viewer having pirate ancestry, 31%. Bet, unresolved. He resolved the bet. He just won't say it out loud. 9 people, 9 different methods. 1 principle, no more than the person you're taking from. If that sounds familiar, it should. It is also how every bank, empire, and government in this video survived long enough to be in this video. If you want more arena, subscribe. Next episode, the animals that have been winning wars against humans for centuries. Spoiler, one of them is still winning. Also subscribe.